Hello, beautiful travelers. Welcome back to the Space Age. In today's video, we're going to be doing a channeled message from your great-grandparents and your great-great-grandparents and your great-great-great-grandparents and so on and so on and so on. At the end of the day, if you go far back enough, we're all connected, right? So this is like the collective great-grandparent reading. So these are essentially messages from your ancestors, but we're channeling today your benevolent and elevated great-great-grandparents, okay? So if you guys have any questions you want to ask your great-grandparents, whether it's like 100 or 1,000 years back or even very recently, feel free to ask them, even if you're watching this video many months or years after it is published. These questions really do transcend time, because time doesn't really exist in the way that we think of time. And when you ask a question, you put it out there, it's reaching this like collective consciousness as it is right now where I'm doing this reading. So feel free to ask questions before the reading even starts if you have questions. And if you were drawn to this reading, I just want to clarify, this is not a pick a card reading. This is a channeled message. So if you're drawn to this reading, consider it like you picked a reading, you know, like this is for you. This is something that is going to be a message for you and intended for you. So we're going to be pulling some oracle cards just to get a message from your great-grandparents and see what things they want you to know and how they can help guide you in this time. And yeah, so we're going to start off with this Lantern Oracle. I don't usually show you guys the cards that I have, and I apologize, but I'm going to try to just show you guys the deck. So we're going to just start with this message. So let's start shuffling. So, great-grandparents, what do you want the person who was drawn to this video to know? What messages? Ooh, so we have women supporting women. This is 22. I have the sniffles right now because it's like the fall, and I always get like some sneeze allergies during this time, so if you hear me sniffling, that's what it is. Together we can transcend our individual limitations. So I feel like this is your female, feminine energy ancestors, great-grandparents coming through, your great-grandmas, all this. This is this collective energy of love that transcends time here. There's generations of love that surround you. I'm seeing that your great-grandparents are always with you. Your ancestors are always flying with you. They love you and they support you. And they want you to feel that support. There's this cord that's tying all of them together, and they want you to know that you're tied through time. And everything that you have inside of you, it comes from them and your ancestors. You are literally living and embodying your ancestry, like your ancient technology. It's within you. And these threads transcend time. So when you think you're not strong, you are quite literally the strongest thread that has ever been made. This is a thread that's like this golden thread is like so strong here. And so what I'm seeing here is like something, if you feel like something's been holding you back, your great-grandparents, your great-grandmothers really, they want you to know that there's actually nothing holding you back, and you just have to listen and hear their voice. Whenever you feel like there is like an area of limitation in your life, you're being called to perceive things differently. So I was drawn to do this reading actually because I also had like this experience with like a great grandmother that came through, and I feel like this energy is coming through to let you guys know that there's actually nothing holding you back anymore. If you want support, you have support. And some of you guys might feel really jaded about whether you're receiving support at all. And this is trying to tell you, like, you are always supported. And underneath this card, we had key to intimacy. And so it says, intimate love is a core need to be met in relation to ourselves and those closest to us. The journey to intimacy often includes learning what love is not. Okay, so some of you that were drawn to this reading are currently in a phase of life where you're learning what real love is. And I noticed that we have the master number 22 here as well, and I wanted to point that out before, but for some of you guys, it might be important. You might be learning like a lesson right now. There might be a certain test, and you can find out what that is, a more in-depth understanding of that through looking up what that number may mean to you right now. So we have emotional energy as well coming through. Emotions are messengers to be met with appropriate attention, action, and gratitude. Absolutely. The question here is like, are you guys addressing your emotions that are being channeled to you? Do you see the colors here and how like kind of like drab these colors are over here, but the colors are strong here? And that's representing your emotions, right? Like if you're not following that emotional drive, if you're not listening, then you're going to be leading yourself down this kind of dreary, like kind of maybe feeling bored all the time, feeling like lost. And you know, it's funny. If you guys are feeling lost, I've been watching Battlestar Galactica. I don't know if you guys have seen this show, but there's like this scene near the end where this girl, one of the main characters, Starbuck, she's feeling lost. She has a destiny, right? But she forgets, she gets to a point where she doesn't realize if she even has a destiny anymore. And so she talks to someone who's like actually a spirit guide, right? It's one of her ancestors, believe it or not. That's so ironic because I've been wanting to do this reading for like a month and a half, but just this morning I saw that like part of the episode. And through music and her ancestor, she learned that it's okay to be lost. Sometimes when you think you're lost, you actually still know the way, right? So don't be afraid of being lost, okay? And if you are lost, don't be afraid to just be drifting about in the woods or wherever you are in your mental place, right? If you feel really down, if you feel like you're at the bottom of a well, wherever you're feeling, these two cards flipped over, whatever you're feeling, don't worry about it. The best thing to do is follow where your emotions are guiding you. And the best thing to do is think about what makes you happy day to day. Sometimes you don't actually know what the inner voice is, but the inner voice is actually when you feel that feeling good emotion, right? And that might be anything, depending on where you are. It might be going for a walk. It might be sitting down to do something relaxing. It might be changing jobs. But the way you know what's right for you, your grandparents want you to know this. The way you know what's right for you is to follow your joy. Follow your emotional energy. This is a joyful feeling, these colors. These aren't sad emotions. Following your bliss. And some of you guys might not even understand what that is because you feel like you've been so far from it for so long. You might not even feel like it can be a functional reality for you, but it can. It is a reality for you. And the way you guys get back in touch with your intuition and knowing what you need to do, especially when you're feeling lost, is by following what makes you feel happy unconditionally. Sometimes we have like this what's it called? This fear that if we follow what we want and what we love, that things are going to end up deteriorating in our lives. Like things are going to just mess up. We're going to make people unhappy. But your higher self knows the path of least resistance actually. So sometimes you're imagining, oh, if I did the things that I want, these people would be heartbroken, this would be sad, or like everything in my life would fall apart, like I've established so much in my life. If you follow that feel-good feeling, that gut instinct, you're not going to be led down a path of destruction in your own life because your higher self knows the path of least resistance. So you might be feeling if you follow the inspiration as it comes, right? If you follow this thread, this guidance system, right? You're going to be led to a path that works for you with ease and no resistance here. Because a lot of you guys are feeling drained, I'm seeing. And you guys feel, this is like almost like a hermit energy. I sense a lot of you guys might be feeling like closed off, right? And it says the journey to intimacy often includes learning what love is not. I'm seeing that some of you guys might be learning this lesson right now where you think that showing love to someone is sacrificing yourself, and that's not really the case. It's funny, I ran into someone the other day and we were talking about this, and what we were saying is like, you know, you think you're making someone, you know, happier by like staying around, but you're really not. You're not making yourself happy. And what's going on here is like, they'll be okay. Those people that you're really worried about, their hearts breaking, your great-grandparents want you to know they're going to be okay. But are you going to be okay if you stay in this stagnant energy? This is energy in motion right here. This is energy in motion. You guys need to follow your inspiration. Your inspiration could lead you to taking out the trash, okay? And then something on the street as you're like taking out your trash might happen. It's those little things. When you see like a vision in your mind, do it, right? If you see a tree in front of you and you visualize yourself climbing that tree, go climb it. You might not get to the top, but just follow those urges and those instincts. Okay, we have dragons, slay them all. Oh, that's powerful. So this just came out, and I feel like these are like the dragons in your own life. So this is saying like, you know, don't be afraid to sacrifice, because you know what? Following fear is making you think that if you do what you love, that's a bad thing. But this right here is saying like, these are your own inner limitations. When you really do follow the path of what you love, there isn't anything to fear. There isn't anything painful ahead of you, actually. There isn't that heartbreak that you've been anticipating. That's fear talking, you know? And then we have lighthouse. Oh, lighthouses have been popping up a lot lately. I've watched The Iron Giant recently. The lighthouse was a very significant message there. Just lighthouses everywhere. And the lighthouse really is like that beacon signal, asking you to just awaken, asking you to just listen and follow your own beacon. Because what does a lighthouse do? It brings that ship home. You are that ship. Where is home for you? Right? It's easy to see that light. It's easy to see that lighthouse. So your great-grandparents, they want you to know it's easy to see that light. You just have to follow it. And everything, like, just know that the things that you're fearing, they aren't real. When you feel that feeling of like being transported out of like, oh, by the way, this was the Believe in Your Own Magic deck. When you feel that fear, you're being transported out of the present moment, actually. So remember to just be in the present moment. That's so important for you guys, okay? Being present is like the most important thing. So I'm going to pull some tarot cards for you just to give you guys some more context. So great-grandparents, what is your wisdom today for the person who is watching this? How can they get back into their alignment, back into their love? Your great-grandparents want you to feel that love every single day. And I know some of you might feel like you're at the bottom of a well, you know, like figuratively, and you don't know how to get out. You might feel lost, like Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica. But ooh, that's so funny. I just saw this, like it just popped out, like, or it didn't pop out, but I just saw it underneath, and it just, it looks like a labyrinth back here, right? And the thing about a labyrinth versus, like, there's a difference between a labyrinth and a maze. A maze, a maze, you have to figure out the way out, right? But the labyrinth has only like one solution, right? I believe that's the case. I'm sorry, I'm like getting confused for a second. So the labyrinth is actually like, you might feel like you're lost, but there's one way out, right? And if you keep following the path, if you keep following the inspiration where you're being led, that is how you're going to get out, just like this lighthouse. We have the 10 of Swords, right? So some of you guys are really feeling drained. I'm sensing that a lot of you guys are feeling so challenged by the thoughts in your life. You think that if you do things, it's going to hurt other people around you. Spirit doesn't want that to be the case for you. I think you feel some of you guys might be really big people pleasers, and you think that you're actually serving anyone, right? And you can't serve two masters. That's what the person I ran into the other day was talking about when you're having this conversation. Like, you really can't serve two masters and be happy. You're not making anyone happy by doing this. And really, the way out, oh yeah, so the 9 of Swords here. You're in this waiting place. Okay, read this story by Dr. Seuss. It's called Oh, the Places You'll Go. It's so good. It's so deep, especially if you're an adult or like just older. When you read it as a kid, maybe you didn't understand it. There is a place called the waiting place, and I feel like you guys are in this waiting place here. And it's okay. It's okay to feel lost. I'm telling you right now. Your grandparents are saying it's okay to feel lost right now because you're not actually lost. You may feel lost, but that's you being found. When you're feeling lost, there's a reason for that. We have this Judgment in reverse. Yeah, some of you guys have been ignoring that call from Spirit, from your divine intelligence, from your higher self, really. It's really your higher self that you guys have been ignoring right now. Because your higher self, maybe you don't trust it, or maybe you never learned about your higher self in the way that you might have actually really benefited from. But your higher self cares about you, and they understand that to get where you want to go, sometimes you, in your mind, you think that it's going to cause like this great sacrifice. You think things are going to be awful. But if you sit in stillness, if you meditate really, if you meditate and you sit in stillness and you allow yourself to focus on being present as often as you can, and following all the stuff that you need to follow, that good feeling, just follow the good. When you wake up in the morning, don't judge your thoughts. Like, okay, you want to sit down and paint. You want to maybe not go to where you were supposed to go today or do something else. Maybe you want to do something else and follow the inspiration instead. Now is the time, because I'm sensing those of you that are here are in that waiting place. So don't ignore this call anymore of your higher self. Sometimes you need to sit. Maybe you need like a period of weeks or some days or some months to just sit down and figure yourself out. Maybe you don't have to figure it out right now. It's okay to wait. It's okay to feel a little lost sometimes, okay? I'm going to pull one more tarot card for you guys. Anything else from the great-grandparents? Any other messages? Perhaps not from this deck. I don't think anything's coming out from this anymore. Okay, we have actually is this the Queen? Yes, this is the Queen of Swords. Yes. So this is talking about you being headstrong in this case for you guys. Spirit wants you to remain headstrong, but not in the way that you think. Not where it's like, I have to come to grips with my life. I have to be strong. Like, there's no need for that. This is about staying in your position, maintaining who you are. When you present, you might get information and be uplifted in one moment, but then the next moment, like someone says something and then you're shaken. You might have belief in yourself one moment and the next moment you're shaken. So it's about finding stability in your life. So starting to meditate, doing practices every single day to put yourself back into the position of feeling good, and remembering to stay true to that, because some of you guys might get distracted again because you might have people in your life that you feel obligated to do things for. But Spirit is saying, like, don't do that anymore. Don't feel that obligation to do that anymore. Just remember to stay true to yourself. And the way you do that is by trying to be present every day. And the best way to do that is by meditating as often as you can. If you can't do it every day, that's fine. Just remember to do it as often as you can. Because beating yourself up about not doing it is actually what makes you not want to do it. If you guys are feeling like it's hard for you to just meditate, because literally just 2 days of meditation, even 1 day actually, makes a huge difference, and you'll see that. But it helps you build that groundedness so that every single second of the day you're asking questions. What do I feel like doing? Like, start inquiring, because you might feel completely like you have no connection to yourself and your intuition, but trust me, the more you do it, the more you remind yourself, it becomes this strong muscle. And you don't have to be perfect all the time. That's what your grandparents want you to know. You already have that support. You have that support with you all the time. They're always with you, always, okay? So we have this message from, this is the postcards from Spirit deck. This is the last thing I'm going to read to you guys. Dearest you, we bet you must be so exhausted some days. Giving as much as you do, sharing your energy so beautifully in service to the highest good can leave you feeling depleted, like an empty well. Oh crap, guys, that's crazy. An empty well? Wasn't I just talking about how you guys felt like you were in a well this whole time? That's so crazy. The entire time this just pops out. That's wild. If it feels as if there's no more water for you, the good news is we have a plan. Today, go take a relaxing bath. Yes, follow that intuition. Book a massage, read a novel, buy yourself flowers, or plant some in your garden. Take time for self-care. No more working on yourself. By tending to yourself now and being present, guys, you are reminded to do so more often. And be sure to use a word that might have caused you anxiety in the past, but is essential for your well-being now. No. Say it with us. No, thank you. No, I can't. You do not have to explain. Just say no gently but firmly. Then go for a soak. Life will wait for you to bring yourself back to center, replenished and ready for more adventure. We love you so very much. Guys, that is what, I just saw 2222 on the timer. Wow. 2222, gosh. Guys, this is so on point. I'm like, gosh, Spirit never like fails to, like, our grandparents are just like right here just trying to like impress this on you guys. Every single moment is a moment of self-care. You have to put that oxygen mask on yourself every single day, every moment, before you can put it on anyone else. If you're taking care of someone else but not yourself, trust me, 10 times out of 10, it's going to end up failing in the end in bringing you that joy that you need. You need to every single day be checking into yourself. Am I feeling good? Am I feeling good right now? And there's always if you're feeling bad, there's always a moment in that time when you're feeling bad where you can check in. That means you're not in alignment with your higher self, right? So there's always a time when you can just check in and say, have I taken care of myself today? You guys need to follow these self-care rituals, because being in self-care, once you just take that time to take that bath or something, self-care can mean so many different things. It can mean like, oh, I'm going to clean today. I'm going to go out. I'm going to, apply to that job I've always wanted to apply to, that I always felt like I wasn't worthy of. I'm going to do what feels good. And you might be led to the most unlikely places, because once you get into this flow, it never stops. But some of you guys might not even have ever experienced that flow, because that flow does exist. And your great-grandparents, our great-grandparents want you and us to know that, okay? There is that flow. And trust me, once you step inside it, you're going to feel this. This message was so crazy on point. Like, even me, I'm like, I have chills right now. This is just, it's so affirming. And our great-grandparents, I'm going to say our, because I feel like all of our great-grandparents are connected. When it comes down to it, we're all coming back. We're all like connected in that way. And we all have these threads connecting us. And so it's like, we have this collective energy to tap into. Dedicate a meditation to your higher self. Ask yourself what feels good. When you feel negative emotions, that is your positive indicator that you're not in flow with what your higher self wants. So if it feels good to go out, if it feels good to change your position in life, do that, okay? Follow that bliss, follow that divining rod that is joy, right? That's what you need to follow. And remember that you're supported, okay? So that's the message I have for you guys. Thank you so much, great-grandparents. We love you, and we are so grateful. And thank you to our higher selves today. And I wish you guys a blessed day and a blessed week, and be present, okay? Remember to be present, okay? as much as you can, and the better, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, okay? So that is what I have for you guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, loves.